in a rational function again, a rational function looks like this. You have f of x is equal to n of x divided by d of x. So you have a numerator function and a denominator function. What is an intercept again? What is an intercept? The way it crosses the what? What's an intercept by definition? It's where it crosses the x or y axis. Thank you. So this is the point where f of x crosses or touches the x or y axis. That's what an intercept is. What do you know about the x-intercept? Other than it crosses the x-axis, what do you know about it? What's special about it? Say it again. Yes. At the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. What do you know about the y-intercept? X equals 0. So at the x-intercept, y equals 0. At the y-intercept, x equals 0. We're going to use that fact right here to find its x and y intercepts. So to find a x-intercept, to find the x-intercept, it's very simple. All you're going to do is set f of x, set the function equal to 0. That's all. To find the x-intercept, set f of x equal to 0 and solve. And then to find the y-intercept, you're going to evaluate the function at f of 0. What does f of 0 mean? The x is all equal what number? 0. So here's an example. Take the equation f of x is equal to 3x minus 1. Let's divide it by x plus 5. Is this a rational function? Yes or no? Yes. Why is it a rational function? Is the top function a polynomial? Yes. Is the bottom function a polynomial? Yes. So we have a rational function, all right? Now, with this function, here's what we're going to do. I want to find the x and y intercepts with this function. To find the x-intercept, how do I find the x-intercept? Set the f of x equal to what number? So I'm going to make this f of x equal what number then? 0. So the x-intercept. The x-intercept is 3x minus 1 over x plus 5. That should equal 0. Everybody understand that? Just set it equal to 0 first. Now I need to solve this equation. How do I solve an equation like this? Multiply by what? X plus 5. Your first step when you find a rational problem like this is to try to clear the fraction. In order to clear a fraction, you're going to multiply by the denominator on both sides. So you're going to multiply both sides by x plus 5 within the denominator. And when I do that, what happens to this side? The x plus 5 are going to do what to each other? So I'm left with just 3x minus 1. And I'm going to multiply this side by what? 0 times x plus 5 is just what? 0. I can solve this equation now, so I get 3x is equal to 1 and x is equal to what? 1/3. So what is the x-intercept then? How do you write the x-intercept as a point? 1/3 and 0. And I want you to realize this. You're always setting this function equal to what number? 0. Does everybody understand that? Because you're always setting it equal to 0, let's talk about this real quick. If you're always setting this function equal to 0, what will the right-hand side always be? 0. Everybody understand that? So, I'm telling you to multiply both sides by x plus 5, but in the end, really and truthfully, you can always just set the whatever's in your numerator equal to 0 and solve it. Because we're always going to clear the denominator out, right? By multiplying by. So when you multiply both sides by the denominator, you multiply this side by the denominator, what are you left with? Just the numerator, right? You multiply this side by the denominator, what happens to it? It becomes what number? Every time. Everybody got that? So when you find the x-intercept, how do you find the x-intercept? Set the numerator equal to what number? And solve it. Everybody understand that? Alright. The y-intercept. How do you find the y-intercept? Yeah, so set x equal to 0. So we're going to evaluate the function at 0. That's what that means. So f of 0 is equal to 3 times 0 minus 1 over 0 plus 5. This is just 0 minus 1 is negative 1 on the top. 0 plus 5 is 5 on the bottom. So you get that's equal to what then? Negative 1/5. So what's the actual point then? 0, negative 1/5. Y'all got that? It's fairly simple, right? There's x and y intercepts, what you've been doing. Let me give you a different type of problem like this, though, just to make sure we understand it. Try this one. Alright, x plus 4 over x minus 2 plus 1 equals f of x, or f of x is equal to this time. How is this different? Well, because you have the 1 sitting out here in the end, right? Everybody see that? Makes it a little bit different. There's two ways to solve this. When you have a number sitting out here, what I really want to do is be able to combine this fraction on the left-hand side, and then be able to set it equal to 0. How do I combine this fraction on the left-hand side, though? How do you combine any fraction? You have to have a what? Common denominator. What is in the denominator of this fraction right now? And this side has a what? 1. So we need to really give it an x minus 2. So we can multiply everything by x minus 2 on this side and make that work. But the way we're going to do it is like this. Another way to do it, instead of setting this equal to 0 this time, well, here's what you actually have. Let's write it out. To find the x-intercept, you have x plus 4 over x minus 2 plus 1 is equal to what number again? To find the x-intercept? What should it equal? 0. Another way we're going to do it is like this. Instead of setting it equal to 0 like this, we're going to move the 1 over. So we're going to do x plus 4 over x plus 2 is equal to what? What kind? Negative 1, right? And I'm going to make this a fraction, negative 1 over 1, right? Everybody got that? When I have two fractions equal to each other, how do I solve them? How do you solve two fractions equal to each other? Cross multiply, good. This is just a proportion, so you're going to cross multiply here. And so when I cross multiply, I get this. X plus 4 is equal to negative x plus 2. I mean, negative x minus 2. Solve the equation for x. I'm going to add x to both sides. And I'm going to subtract out 4 from both sides.
Yeah. Why did the number 2 turn positive?
It didn't mean to. Thank you for catching that. That should be x plus 2, right? Yeah. Thanks. Minus 4, and this is, I'm going to do minus 4 on both sides. So I'm making this negative x a positive, adding x to both sides. You see that? I'm making this 4 negative, subtracting 4 from both sides. So this side I get 2x, this side cancels. And that's plus 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. You get x is equal to what? Negative 1. So what's the actual intercept then? Negative 1, 0. That's the x-intercept. How do I find the y-intercept? How do you find the y-intercept here? So set x equals 0. So f of 0 is equal to 0 plus 4 over 0 minus 2. But then you have to add 1 to all of that, right? So this is equal to, what's 4 over negative 2? What's 4 divided by negative 2? Negative 2. And negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1, right? So my intercept is 0, negative 1.